Well, hi there. Welcome to episode 342 of Roqe. I'm Jian Gomeshi. And before we get the show on the road today, here's a little ode to Coldplay, an honorary Iranian band of brothers. You know, sometimes a little lyric can mean a lot, and maybe this is a lesson that Coldplay have just taught us. A little nod to the movement for change in Iran, a little musical candle to hold and show that hope is not entirely gone. So, an ode to Chris Martin and Coldplay. Now, before you start yelling at the screen, wondering why on earth we need to give props to this musical group that is selling out stadiums around the world and clearly doesn't need our help, bear with me. This is an ode about community. And let's get the disclaimers out of the way. There's nothing underground about Coldplay. I get it. You think they're twee and their lyrics are a crock and all those sugary melodies. Can you really call that rock? No, probably not. But honorary Iranians? Yes. Oh, hipsters, be damned. You can stick to your snobby little bars because it turns out these guys are a sky full of stars. You see, Coldplay recently released a collaborative song called We Pray that has not unexpectedly become an international hit. It has all the best of the Chris Martin vocals, catchy musical twists and turns, a solid groove, and a big sing-along, inspiring chorus. But it also features a lyric in the chorus that says, "And so we pray we'll be singing Baroye," or, as Chris sings it, Baroye. That, as you may know, is a reference to the powerful and moving song by the young Iranian singer and composer Shervin, a song that became the anthem of the Women Life Freedom movement for democracy and change in Iran a couple of years ago. If you didn't know that, you may be one of the gazillions of people around the world Googling what does that word in the chorus of the new Coldplay hit mean, and hence the education that happens in between. And it's no surprise that the members of Coldplay know the song. You may remember they even performed it on stage at the height of the protests in Iran with the special guest vocalist Gul Shifteh playing a part. Coldplay's live performances have become spectacles that transcend language and culture. The band often makes an effort to connect with their international audiences by speaking local languages or paying tribute to the cultures they visit, making fans feel seen and appreciated. This deep level of engagement, combined with their universal messages and musical inclusivity, helps solidify Coldplay's status as one of the most internationally unifying musical acts of the 21st century. They're a conscious and conscientious group of guys. And having had the occasion to interview Chris Martin a couple of times, he was exactly what you would hope. A thoughtful, compassionate, passionate guy that cares about things like the young people of Iran. And let's be real, a perfunctory nod to a song in the chorus of another is not exactly going to have the Islamic Republic regime quaking in their turbans, but these kinds of little things can matter. A small gesture in a massive song that says this band and its millions of fans may just give a thought to the Iranian people. And so, dear English rock stars, this essay is Baraye Shoma too. Dear Coldplay, this ode is for you. Okay, we got a brand new edition of Roqe coming your way, featuring special guests in the studio, Reza Rohani and Sara Naeini. Let's get started. This is Roqe, episode 342. It's October 17th, 2024. This is Roqe. Welcome to episode 342 of Roqe. I'm Jian Gomeshi. Hello to you from Toronto. Hello to you from Canada. Salam dostan aziz, durud bar shoma. I hope you're doing well wherever you are tuning in from around the world. Hello there, smart Pegah.
Hello.
Coldplay are honorary Iranians. I will make
Absolutely.
the case. You agree?
I do agree.
It's a small thing.
So meaningful.
It's a small little lyric.
I really appreciated it the first time that I heard it.
Me too.
And I already love Coldplay, first of all. But aside from that, to just hear that, it really warmed my heart to think that, a band of the level of Coldplay, and I don't necessarily mean that their music is amazing, because I know, some hipsters and rock fans and whatever else will argue that maybe they're not the greatest band and all that. But just as musicians who have that type of reach, the fact that they put something like that in their lyrics means so much.
I had the same reaction the first time I heard it, where it was like, because also it's not a B-side. It's like their big international hit. They've got different singers on it. And I was like, what did he just say? Bado? Because he also says Badoye.
Yeah.
You know, was he
Pronunciation's
doing
a little off.
Badoye? That's, which is really, you know, when Coldplay first started, they were cool. And then they sold too many records, and then they were
And now
really
they're not
uncool
cool anymore?
They're not cool.
Oh, come
but they
on.
are. But you know, now they've been around for a while,
Yeah.
and everyone knows it's really the best stadium show in the world, and so they are kind of cool. Speaking of cool, Reza Rohani,
Yes.
Sara Naeini, two of our favorites.
Absolutely.
These people are. They performed in Toronto recently. They're here in studio, coming out in studio in a moment. They're such joyous people. I'm going to ask them about this. They're always, not only is I mean, Reza, of course, from the storied musical family, and he's a genius pianist. And
Right.
Sara has, I think, maybe the best voice in the Iranian world in terms of a female voice. And they're all just like, you see them on stage and they look like it's their first recital. They're just like smiling and having fun. And I can't tell, are they good actors? Are they really enjoying this? They're amazing.
Yeah, I remember their concert last year that I went to was very much true. Yeah, what you're saying now that I'm thinking back on it.
You
it
didn't
is
come to
true.
this one recently?
No, not this one. I missed this one. Yeah.
What? Yeah, I see. So Sara Naeini and Reza Rohani coming up. Very excited to have them on the show for the feature interview. They'll both be here in the studio. I wanted to mention, you know how I like to teach you about being Iranian, because you're not as, you
of
don't,
course.
you don't understand these things.
No, I don't.
من یاد میدم به تو
That's right.
که یه کمی یاد بگیری.
که یاد بگیرم ایرانی باشم.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
true.
So you know what I did on this past weekend?
Well, I do know, but
Oh.
tell me.
Oh, what did I do? I mean, I did a couple things.
Well,
I was at the Cyrus Film Festival, but
I
that's
thought
not
that's
what I'm
you were.
talking
Okay, that's
no,
what I thought you were.
No,
gonna.
I hosted this event
Okay.
that was a celebration of Mehregan.
Oh.
Now, I bet you, actually, you probably know what Mehregan is, right?
I have some idea.
Who
what
will
that-
speak for Mehregan? The poor cousin of Nowruz, the event that no one cares about or has heard of.
Yeah.
So it turns out Iranians, like way back,
right.
wanted to have a celebration for every season.
Okay.
Not satisfied with the spring equinox.
Right.
Every season they had to come up with
What
something.
happened to that? I wish we still did that.
Well, we do, but nobody
Not
cares.
really.
Mehregan. So
Okay,
Mehregan
tell me
is the
about
celebration
Mehregan.
of autumn.
Yes.
Harvest. Something that all Iranians are currently
Yes,
thinking
of
about.
course.
Well, the farmers, harvest, friendship, light, and love.
Amazing.
I have a
Very
tear in my eye.
excited about Mehregan.
Unrelated to this. I think it was for Coldplay. No, light and love is so beautiful.
It is.
And I have to say, like, Iranians, when it comes to the generalizations and the stereotypes that are made about us, the Iranian people around the world, especially at dodgy political times, etc., tend to
Right.
be extremely negative and tend to be, what are we associated with? The revolution, war, hostages, atrocities, whatever.
Yeah.
The truth is, these celebrations are always so freaking inclusive. Like it's like out of the 21st century progressive, woke playbook or something, but it was developed hundreds of years ago, that let's have this celebration of friendship and light and love that's non-political and non-partisan and non-denominational and non-religious. I love it.
Yeah.
It's really sweet.
So we got to bring Mehregan back.
Mehregan, I did you want my research?
Yes. Tell me about your
Mehregan is you and at least 6 people listening care. The rest of the thousands of people have turned off.
Either that, or we're going to see an influx of Mehregan parties as of next year.
Or corrections, like I'm probably saying Mehregan incorrectly.
No,
or
I
something.
think you're saying it
Mehregan
right.
is one of the most important and ancient festivals in Iranian culture, traditionally celebrated to honor the deity Mithra, Mehr in Persian, the god of friendship, light, and love. Rooted in the Zoroastrian tradition, Mehregan marks the time of the autumn harvest, celebrated on the 16th day of Mehr, the 7th month of the Persian calendar, corresponds to early October in the Gregorian calendar. Historically, the counterpart to Nowruz. celebrating the fall equinox and bounties of nature. So during Mehregan,
and it's celebrated on the fall equinox. I didn't realize that. Okay,
what do you think?
Cool.
You're not paying attention.
Yeah, clearly.
I'm saying at the beginning of every season, we have a thing.
Okay, makes sense now. I
think there's one. What's the summer one? There's one.
Summer solstice.
No, yes, I know, but what's the Persian?
There's
something.
No, hold on. It's Tirgan.
Oh, yeah, right. Right, Tirgan. And then the winter one is there's a Shavialda.
Right,
there you go.
Exactly. And you've got
so
all
these are
now.
all the equinoxes.
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah. So during Mehregan, homes are decorated with vibrant colors like purple and pink, representing the hues of autumn and in tribute to
pink.
Prince, the artist. People dress in their finest attire. A central element of the celebration is the Mehregan table. There always has to be a fucking table, as you know, which includes
dress in your finest, of course.
Rose water, sweets, flowers, vegetables, fruits, pomegranates, apples, and the first 3 Coldplay albums. Always on the Mehregan table.
Can't go without
this
that.
This was my favorite part of the research. Under the Achaemenid Empire, your people,
my people, yeah,
the Armenian subjects of the Persian king gave him 20,000 horses every year during the celebration of Mehregan. This is the kind of Persian excess that we love. What this man did with the 20,000 horses.
It wasn't.
Maybe 10 horses would be nice.
No.
Here's 10 nice horses. They gave him 20,000 horses.
We sure know how to make a statement.
Under the Sasanian Empire, your people.
Okay.
Mehregan
they're all my people. Yeah. Okay.
Mehregan was the second most important festival, falling behind Nowruz. I don't know why that's an important distinction, but that was in the history books. There you go, Mehregan.
Well, thank you. Now I know.
Now you know Mehregan, Yalda, Tirgan, Nowruz.
Okay.
With each season, the Iranians have a table, a party, some rose water.
Some things haven't changed.
And light. We're always about the light, too.
Yes.
Not the dark. We like the light.
Very true.
Except that's not the way we are, really. But in the celebrations.
Sure we are.
No.
Come on.
Iranians are dark, morose, sad,
we tend
depressed
to be
people.
Optimistic at times.
True.
So, that's good.
All right. Speaking of optimistic.
Yes.
It's a weird segue. Reza Rohani.
You did say they were joyous, so.
They are joyous. That's right.
There
Speaking of optimistic.
Exactly.
Do you have anything we're not going to do roundup this week.
I think we'll keep it joyous.
There's
and skip roundup.
The only things that we could talk about are people getting killed and assassinated,
Exactly.
and for better or for worse. Let's go to, we're going to get our guests in here, and then I'm going to talk to you on the other side of it.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, Smart Pegah. Let's get to our featured guests. Let's get to our featured guests today. A dynamic powerhouse duo of Iranian popular music is here with me in the Roqe studio. I'm excited to have them both here. She is a distinguished Iranian-American singer based in Los Angeles. I honestly think that she has one of the best voices in the Iranian space in the world. And it's really hard to argue that. She is just phenomenal. She was born in Shiraz, made her debut in the underground music scene at the age of 18, quickly gained recognition as a backing vocalist for well-known Iranian artists. And her talent caught the attention of Anushirvan Rohani, who introduced her to his talented son. This collaboration led to a fruitful partnership, and she eventually relocated to the United States to tour and record, and she's been on tour with both this gentleman who's sitting next to her. She's also been teaching the legendary Abi, and her latest show in Toronto just happened. We're going to discuss that in a moment, but first, hello, Sara Naeini.
Hello.
So nice to see you in person.
Yeah, so nice to see you too.
I only know you on Zoom.
Yes.
Which
I remember when I sang, you said I didn't hear anything because the sound was cut off. But
I only
now
know
I'm here.
I only know you from Zoom, a sentence that wouldn't have made sense 5 years ago.
Yeah.
It's a very new kind of language. Let me introduce the person sitting next to you. He is a composer, a producer, a pianist, a musician for film and TV based also in Los Angeles. He He has come to global attention for his beautiful and novel fusion of jazz sounds with Iranian, European, Middle Eastern influences. He was born into a famous musical family, but left Iran for Germany first in the early 90s as a teenager, where he studied classical and jazz music before returning to Iran to record his first album. He's also well known to Persians around the diaspora for becoming famous in his role as a judge on the popular weekly Manitou Music Talent Program stage. He's a thoughtful, joyful, accomplished musician who's also just performed in Toronto with Sara. Hello to you, Reza Rohani.
Hello, sir. I'm glad to be back.
I'm so happy to see you in person again as well.
Thank you.
You guys are both smiling.
Yeah.
I have to start with that because watching you on stage, I mean, I can't believe you're acting this. I think I got to believe it's real. It's a very joyful experience. There's a lot of laughter. You're smiling at each other. I mean, Reza, this is kind of your disposition in general. You're a very, you're like Kamala Harris. You're always laughing, but in a lovely way.
We don't rehearse nearly enough to, for this all to be rehearsed. Unfortunately, we don't have enough rehearsals.
It's been a long time. We've known each other when we've been friends and we've been working together. So there's this thing that we look at each other where we know what we're talking about and we laugh. So we both know what is going on. So it is real.
But not to be sort of maudlin or twee about it, but it's quite beautiful to see, like Reza, somebody who is as accomplished as you are, who has performed as much as you have. You're still, forgive the expression, but you're still like a kid up there. When you're playing, your head is bobbing. It's like I get to play in front of people. There's this like excitement that is wonderful to watch. Can you describe what that is?
Honestly, I actually have, as opposed to Sarah's amazing ability to be able to act on cue, I have never been able to do that. I am just myself all the time, and it is actually that joyful to me. So I actually really feel privileged every time. I feel energized whenever I have the opportunity to play in front of the audience, especially if I'm with Sarah June and it's our own show, and we don't have to really pay attention to hierarchy. It's just
what does that
similar.
mean?
That means for example, if I'm performing next to my father, obviously I'm going to behave.
When the cat's away, the mice can play.
When you give me the microphone, then everything goes out.
I love last night when you played in Toronto. You said somebody had said to you, "Why do you talk so much on stage?" But you really don't talk that much. But what was your answer?
I said, because therapy is so expensive.
But that talk to me about that, Sarah. That what I'm seeing with you guys on stage, that joy, because it is a job. Not everybody does their job bouncing up and down and happy, and yet you seem genuinely, I mean, maybe you are a good enough actor that this is what you can do on stage, but you seem genuinely excited to be there when you're there with Reza.
I truly am. Every time Reza plays and I sing with him, even at his place, at his apartment, we play together. I enjoy so much. It's like, it reminds me the purpose of my life to sing. Every time he plays and I sing, I feel alive. I feel like I was born for this, but because of him. And it's really joyful for me to sing alongside him. Every time we have a show, I'm so excited to just see him on stage and enjoying. And he just transferred that feeling to me as well. So we just react to each other, to our feelings on the stage. And it's really fun. It's really fun.
That's really beautiful. How do you characterize your relationship at this point? I mean, how would you describe it? Is it like siblings, or what's the way you would actually characterize this?
Yeah, I would say we are first and foremost friends.
Yes.
We are I don't know,
Well, actually, he's he's one of my best friends.
Yeah.
In Los Angeles, I don't have too many friends. He's just one of them. I have another one that is very close to me. So he's my best friend.
Yeah. We are like Phoebe and Joey.
Yes. Oh my God, that's so true. That's
Wait,
so
did they
true.
ever hook up though?
No, they didn't.
Okay, all right. Phoebe and Joey references that all Iranians actually will get, even though it's an American show. Wow, so you're Joey, so you're the hot one.
Yeah.
I like how he's casting
And I'm
himself
the
as Joey. Yeah. Well, of the friends, I would be Joey, the cute guy.
That will also be the dumb guy.
That's true. You're also the
And
dumb
she
guy.
would be my guitar teacher.
But if you know each other that well, sometimes when you know somebody really well, there's a downside to it too. I mentioned siblings. No one can set me off like my sister. I mean, it's family members are, when you're really close to someone, emotions are very close to the surface. They have a certain tick or a thing they do that bothers you. What's the alchemy here that seems to be so positive all the time?
Well, I believe we respect each other very highly. So that respect between us just make it work. Anything happens, we talk, we just figure it out. So I think it's the respect. It's love and respect both together. I think that makes two people get along pretty well.
Sarah, what has Reza taught you musically?
Oh wow, he taught me so much. But one of the most thing that I always appreciated and I always tell everyone is like, he taught me to be really accurate at what I sing, especially the notes, the tunes. I have to be really I have to really focus and be concentrated on what I sing, and that actually made me a better singer. And actually,
Meaning you weren't concentrating before?
I was, but sometimes you just think that some of the notes are not that important. So what happens if I sing that one a little bit like half step higher or half step lower? Nothing happens. But he was like, no, you have to sing this. I wrote this one, you have to sing. I was like, okay, I have to.
Oh, sounds
I have to
awful.
do that.
Sounds like
no,
a
actually,
school
it was great.
principal.
No, it was great because my music ear got much better after
But you know
that.
what's funny about you saying that is one of the things that I thought was remarkable watching you on stage in Toronto recently was you are obviously an accomplished singer. I mean, and you teach singing, etc. We'll talk a bit about that. But on stage, you're almost like, I mean, the only way I could put it is you're very expressive, and almost expressive to the extent of being what I would describe as a musical theater performer. There's places where you will speak the word rather than singing it because it serves the emotion, for example. So that, which I loved. I mean, every song is like an experience that this person is taking you on, as if you're Eponine in Les Miserables or something. You know, you're grabbing the audience with that. But that seems to be counterintuitive. That seems to be different from being very structured in terms of following the notes or making sure that where you are. You know what I'm talking about?
I know, but the thing is, I use different sounds, different vocal boxes. So they sound different, but I'm still singing on notes, on tune. That is why it's different than the Broadways. Actually, they actually are on very accurate on the notes that they're singing.
But they will sometimes do what it takes to serve the story of the song.
I don't go that far.
Right.
Yeah.
Reza, you had your hand up. Thank you for putting your hand up.
Yeah, I thought this is where actually I should answer this. So Sarah has this ability to just basically deliver whatever you ask of her artistically. So she has the capability of being the actress and the singer at the same time. So that's why her pronunciations, for example, are very unique, because they actually exactly deliver both what you need from a singer and from a musical theater actress. So that's to her credit. she has actually made me a more lazy composer. I have to just reply.
I was going to say, what have you learned from Sara?
Well,
so it's to be lazy.
I just learned to not accept low quality vocals because honestly, like I can tell you, so as a composer, she's a dream to work with because like whatever you ask of her, she can deliver. And I sometimes like go out there and like I'm crazy and say, you know what if you could like sing this and that, and then in this tahrir go to that sharp, and it's all there like 3 seconds later. And so yeah, I she has spoiled me.
Is it always that? I mean, is there ever a song that you bring to Sara and you say, Sara, I don't know if I like this tune, or it's not working for me, or in whatever Taurufi way to say that.
Yeah. All this time, I love all of his songs. It was just one song time that I told him, Reza, I'm not feeling it. And he said, of course, that's great. We don't do this. We do something else. It was just one time. It was one melody that I didn't get it well. Yeah, it happened though.
It's funny, he remembers that quite well, it seems.
No, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Because it was just
because
one
that's
time.
once.
Still scarred, but yeah.
No.
You know, the thing is actually, I think the artistic taste is mostly the same with Sara and me. So we have the same taste. We like to the first thing that the first person that I want to share a new music with is Sara, and I'm always impressed by her Spotify choices and the music that she listens to, because it's interesting, because not because I approve or whatever, it's just because, oh wow, I discovered this through Sara, and that's exactly what I would like to listen to.
Guys really are best friends.
Yeah,
sweet. But Reza, as a composer, it's interesting because with Sara's proximity, first of all, you're working together a bunch and you're close friends. Do you start now writing pieces with her in mind that you wouldn't have, say, done that a few years ago?
Honestly, like I actually actively try to get away from composing for Sara. So I do compose with having somebody else other than Sara singing the melody, and then at the end of the day, I just like come to the conclusion that nobody else could do it better. So I have told her before, because like we are very close friends, but all the songs I've given her, those were all purely artistic decisions. So it was never like, you know what, Fulani could sing that better, but I'm gonna give it to you because we are friends. No, it was always Fulani would give me more money, or Fulani would be a better promotional move or whatever, but you just sing it the best. So it's yours.
You said something interesting when you were on stage in Toronto. I think the song was Nafas.
Yes.
And you talked about that song being, you've been writing that song for 18 years.
No, well,
or
I
is it that you wrote it 18 years ago?
Yeah, 18 years ago.
I thought it was something that was incubating.
No.
So are there songs like that you keep workshopping over a period of time, or are they all finished as soon as you write them?
I am actually good at that when it comes to like making the decision that I'm done with this piece. But there are many songs that take a longer period of time, especially when I have to collaborate with a lyricist. But yeah, I think, in this case, Nafas was just composed as an instrumental piece 17 years ago. And as a matter of fact, I composed it instantly. Like I just sat down and played the whole song. But
Are those the best songs? The ones that come
you
like
know
that?
what? I have had the privilege to have different experiences. So I have had songs like this, maybe like 2 or 3 that made it bigger, but mostly it's glimpses. So you have an inspiration, you're playing something, and it sticks, and then you develop it. It's not black and white. It's all kind of different processes. Sometimes I wake up, remember something, and I like turn on my phone and sing like something into it, and then the next day I listen to it. But mostly, I actually, on average, I would say a few weeks of absolute restlessness with a song, because I have it constantly in the back of my head. And it does not give me room to breathe until I wrote it down. So
there's a legendary singer-songwriter, a famous guy that once told me that all of his hits, the greatest songs that I can drop the name. It's Elton John. I was doing it, and Elton John said all of his biggest songs he wrote in 10 minutes or 15. And the ones that he labors over are never the ones that that are the ones that don't come as naturally. Sorry seems to be the hardest word.
Oh wow!
I know you
Yes.
recorded that song recently. Yeah, he's amazing. But it makes sense that sometimes it just comes out, it flows. Faramaz Aslani his answer to why he wrote so few songs, over the course of his lifetime was, it's only when they come. I can't force it. So if it only comes every 5 years, then it's going to come. And I'm not sure if that's an effective way of working, but when the inspiration strikes, I suppose.
Well, I have had both experiences, and I can definitely force it, but it doesn't necessarily turn out well. But yeah, so it is always. I often have just one part of the song ready and start practicing with Sarah to see where I go next. For example, we talked about that song Manoto.
Oh, I love that
Actually, Sarah was the reason why the song has a C part. I only had part A and B, and she was like, "There's something missing. This song is not done yet." And I remember, because that was our first performance in LA, and we needed a song for that.
I absolutely love that song.
And she was like, there is something missing here. And I have to agree, because it really did. And then I composed the third part, and then we collaborated with Sogol Garai, the lyricist, and she came up with the third part. And
is it democratic between you two in terms of deciding what you're going to play or what gigs you're going to take, or is it?
Sure.
So you go over a set, you decide the set list together.
Always.
And it's funny watching you on stage, because you're looking at each other. What song did we decide next? What do we?
That's actually I don't know if I would call it democratic. We are just trying to just basically put the other
stumble
one
through the
to
show.
Work.
It was very, can I just say, refreshingly casual.
Yes.
The show, killer band, amazing performances, but is that intentional? You're not putting yourselves in. You're dressed up very nicely, but you're not putting yourselves in straight suits. You're kind of. Is that a vibe you go for? Let's keep it casual.
Yeah, actually, I think in my experience, when you're like that, when you're casual like that, people will feel more close to you. People will feel you're human like them. You're not someone that has a super talent or something. They're like us. They can make mistakes. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it is fun for us as well to be like that.
I happen to meet a close friend of yours. In fact, maybe it's your best friend. She's known you since you were in Iran together. And she told me that you are that on stage you are that's the most real version of Sara is when she's on stage. Is that true?
Well, actually, no.
I trust her.
It's exactly
I trust her.
the opposite, because in my real life, I'm quite shy, and I don't express myself that much. People tell me, no, you don't express anything. And most of my friends, when they see me the first time on the stage, they're like, what? Is it her? Actually, I had this experience with Reza as well. When I first came here, the first show, he had never seen me on stage, and we wanted to collaborate and we wanted to have a concert. And on rehearsals, I just close my eyes, I don't look at anybody and just concentrate. And he told me, this is not the way to do a show. You have to open your eyes, you have to act, you have to do And I told him, Reza, just wait, I'm different on stage. And he was like, I don't know, I've never seen you. But the first night on the stage, she was like, oh wow, she told me she was different on
But
the
actually,
stage.
maybe that underscores what your friend was saying. Your friend is saying you come out of your shell.
Oh yeah,
you're real. That's the real you.
yeah,
maybe you know.
yeah, in that case,
Good
yeah.
save, good save.
I think it's beautiful. I think that's. I mean, and you're not alone. I mean, there's famous performers who are recluses off stage, and
Yeah.
much even worse than being shy, or and then on stage they're just a. Reza, you said something on stage about Sara being able to sing in a certain key. It was a minor key or something.
Yeah.
I didn't quite get what you were
Yeah.
saying. Can you explain?
Yeah, so no, the thing is that usually Sara is more comfortable on the frequency that happens to fall on keys that have a lot of sharps or flats. So on the piano or on any other instrument, you would have a harder time to go into the circle of fifths and have keys that have, as a key signature, have like 4 or 5 flats or sharps. And these are usually the things that are less accessible. You usually are comfortable with your A minor and D minor, E minor with little modification. But yeah, so I don't have that luxury, so I always have to play with those black keys because of her.
I have to tell you this. This is because he finds the best spot for my voice, and the best part is the hardest part for him.
Right. Troublemaker. Reza, can I ask you about your dad? It's I'm sure you've been asked this before. I don't know if I've ever asked you this in one of our other interviews, but you mention him so beautifully and openly on stage. I think you must have mentioned him 5 or 6 times at your Toronto show. You played your tribute song to him when his 80th birthday, and you always mention. Actually, you do a beautiful job of talking about the composers when you're playing songs that have been written by somebody else. Was there ever a point where you were less enthusiastic about talking about your dad because you didn't want to live in his shadow? Because that would be a normal kid reaction to, I want to establish myself. I don't want to just be the son of.
Yeah, you lost me at normal. Honestly, if you meet my father, I think everything falls into place. He's not a person that would overshadow somebody else. He's always the person who supports whoever is around him. So I was always this enthusiastic because I never felt the weight of a shadow. I always felt the protection of a shadow. And that's just because of the way he does it. So
what a beautiful way to answer that question.
Yeah.
That's really amazing. And I mean, was it because, there's... Some kids would even rebel and say, "I want to have nothing to do with music because that's my family's thing." And but that was never you. You
again. So I don't know if how much of that is my father or my own upbringing, and how much of it is genetics. But for me, it's just I was in love with music too much for it to be something, some decision that I could make. It was just too. I would say it was just too too passive in my on my end. I was just like so overwhelmed by this need to do music that the rest didn't really matter.
Speaking of legends, you have been teaching Ebby, the legendary Ebby. Is that you're coaching? You're his vocal coach?
Yes, I am.
I
Proudly.
mean, tell us about that.
Well, it has been an amazing experience that I have had with him. He's this amazing person. He's kind, he's generous, and he's willing to learn to be good, and he does anything that it's necessary for his job, for what he does, which he loves so much. The first time I went to the rehearsals to just do the coaching a little bit, he came through the door and he was like glowing out of happiness to be there to sing. And he wants to sing like a long time, and he was like, I want to tell people to add 40 minutes to the show because he enjoys it so much. And seeing that passion, it's actually inspired me so much.
How did he find you, or pick you? I mean,
Well, I have this amazing friend, Siavash. He's a production manager of Ebby June, and he actually introduced me to him. And he openly accepted. He was Siavash told me that I wasn't so sure about that, but I told him that this is something that we could do, and she's good. And he said, of course, yeah, I'm willing to do that. And he
were
has
you
no
intimidated
guard.
in the beginning?
I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, what am I gonna do? And because he's been the reason that I fell in love with singing in the first place. I was so little. I used to listen to his song, and I loved him so much. And that is how I was introduced to singing. Even not by my mom. My mom is a singer, but
You must have told him that.
Yeah, I told him.
Yeah.
Even my mom got into singing with him as well.
Imagine
So-
little girl Sarah being told, you're going to
Oh my
coach
God.
this
I actually
everyone.
told this story the first time I was on stage with him. I was like, I want to tell you the story of this little girl who just fell in love with his voice, and she grew up and decided to sing in a country that no woman can do that. And she just went on, and she was in the dream of, can I see him someday up close? And now I'm just sitting on his stage singing with him and being able to coach him. That's amazing.
I mean, these feel like leading questions because you're not going to say anything bad about Ebby June here. But I mean, is he really open to? I mean, you wouldn't blame him if he was stuck in his ways. He's been doing this for enough time.
The first thing he was like, the first session he was like, I'm open to anything you tell me. And I was like, and he told me, Khanum Muallim, whatever you tell me, I'm gonna do it. I'm like, oh my God, he's amazing. And to accept this the way he does. And the thing is, because I have listened to all of his songs, and I have just focused on the techniques that he used, everything was perfect up till a point that he just had a physical problem, so he just lost that one for a bit. So what I'm doing is just reminding him of what he did before. He just by experience, not maybe he didn't go to like a teacher or something, but in his experience he learned to do the good techniques, and everything was correct, but he just forgot. So what I'm doing, I'm just reminding him the way he used to sing.
Is the goal endurance?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And how much of that has to do with, not that he's super old, I don't want to, how much of it has to do with aging? I mean, that our voices start to, eventually Tony Bennett couldn't sing like Tony Bennett, right? I mean,
yeah, the thing is with singing, it's not the vocal cords, it's the whole body, especially the muscles of your stomach, is your belly, you have to support the diaphragm. And that is sometimes the problem. Usually the vocal cords are healthy. They can produce the sound pretty well, but the problem is with the rest of the body.
Right. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
That's interesting. And you've also had the chance to sing. You've been on stage with him a few
Yes,
times.
yes.
What was that like?
Oh, like heaven. Every time I see him,
Not as good as it is with Reza, of course.
well, he's different. He is different. He's just my
Careful,
like, yeah.
careful. You're talking about
No. But you know,
It's true, actually. You could be a young Abby yourself.
he just makes me realize that I have reached to what I have always dreamed about. Because he has been my idol for a long time, since I was a kid. So every time I see him, I can't believe that I'm singing with my idol. And it's really like heaven for me, especially this last performance that we had on Istanbul, on Ki Ashkato Pak Mikone. We sang together, and it was so magical. When I sat on the chair and I just looked at the audience, it was just dark, but it was the smoke on the people, and they were turning on their cell phones. It was like you're sitting on the cloud watching the stars, and you're singing with your favorite singer. It was just
That's
really
beautiful.
magical.
That's beautiful. That's really lovely. You've been through some tough times in your life at different points. This is a embrace something like this. Reza, I have a bone to pick with you.
Yeah, sure.
Which is that you are not an old man.
Well,
you are in your 40s, and yet you keep talking about how you're really selling out guys in their 40s. You keep talking about how old you are. And I'm on stage. It was like, baby, I can't read anything anymore. I can barely function. I can barely. Are you leaning into aging? I mean, you could. I think maybe the beard. If you cut the beard, you'd look like you're 12.
You know what? I do acknowledge my age, and I actually am having fun with it. I do see the difference. I am aging, and my body is acting differently than it was. But it's not like there's no bitterness in me acknowledging this. It's just funny to me. Yeah, it's just funny to me to having to learn to deal with stuff in a different way just because you are not 20 anymore.
After the second or third comment, at first I was like, that's funny. Afterwards, I was like, that's enough. Middle-aged men are starting to get uncomfortable in the audience. Let me ask you, the last time you were in our studio, Reza,
Yes.
it was in the middle of that, or actually it was early on in the Massa uprising.
Yes. Yeah.
And you had a show, and it was a time when some folks were making the case that we shouldn't be holding concerts, and you persisted. And in retrospect, and you took some shit for it.
Yeah.
And in retrospect, I think you were right. I think people certainly realized that, first of all, we can't cancel concerts forever. But secondly, why are we canceling concerts? We're just enabling what the wishes of the regime. Did the Persian community, did we globally overreact, do you feel, at that time in terms of how we should deal with the tragedies of what was happening in Iran?
Well, I'm not qualified to say if we overreacted or not. It was I would say it was a natural reaction, but it doesn't mean that I think it's the correct reaction. It is, culturally it has been dictated to us that music is supposed to be fun and has nothing to do with other emotions, and all you do is like dance to it. And and unfortunately, a big portion of our population seems to have the same, seems to have like a feeling of guilt to enjoy music while they are mourning. But in my case, it's different. So Sarah and I, it was our show actually 2 years ago, we had designed the show to actually reflect what was happening in our society back then, 2 years ago. And we had set up songs that we would usually not perform. But that was the exact right time to react that way. But it was my personal decision, and I stand by it. And I also understand people who decided not to support it. But I just think we have to just probably just lead by example and show that you can process other emotions, other complex emotions, by being exposed to music, by getting in groups together. It doesn't have to always be a wedding.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Sarah, do you want to comment on that?
I totally agree with Reza. I think our society, well, hasn't been taught about music the way that we perceive it. As Reza said, they think that music has to be played on just happy occasions. But music is deeper than that. Music is music connects us together.
That popular music, pop music, though, because our society doesn't. I mean, Persian culture. I mean, Shajarian wasn't necessarily wedding music, was it?
But like
So the
Ebi,
sonati stuff
Gugush,
is
they are
the pop stuff. That's what I mean.
Yes,
We're talking about pop stuff, right?
Yes, yes.
Because the sonati stuff tends to be more
Yes.
ghamgin by nature,
Exactly.
which
But music can have both sides. It can be joyful, it can be sad. You can listen to music when you're sad. You can listen to music when you're happy. So it's
You
just
can also be very happy listening to sonati music, for example. Bia ta gol barafshani.
yeah.
That's very happy. I disagree with, like
the characterization that
exactly.
it's always
like
sad.
pop music can be sad, can be happy. Sonati music can be sad, can be happy, and it can have any range of emotions. What it's not, most of the time at least, it's not disrespectful
Yes.
to any occasion that's happening. So our show, in that case, was not anything disrespectful. It was actually how we processed all the trauma.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
That's the thing. That's what I always say. Artists, what an artist do is like take any pain and anything that is going on in a society, and he or she performs it, just translate it to his art. So that art is talking about everybody's feeling. That art is connecting all of us together. I think this is something that we can just be better at. Maybe.
I remember that time. I remember that interview and with you, and I remember you were struggling with it because you knew what you just said. I mean, you stood by your guns, and I really do think there was a period in there. I mean, and it's not assigning blame. I got caught up in it too. Everyone was so traumatized, scared, freaked out, but also excited. What's happening with that? And trying to have the appropriate reaction to kids being killed, whatever. That I think that there was a lot of judgment that happened in the Iranian space of you shouldn't watch this football game, you shouldn't say this, you shouldn't play a concert, and it doesn't make any sense in retrospect, especially when it comes to the arts, because some of the people who were performing at the time, we had another musician on around the same time as you, who said we need an outlet. We're doing our concert as an outlet, and that person was also getting judged for, why are you playing at this time? We shouldn't be having concerts. We shouldn't be doing anything other than focusing on the revolution. So it's an interesting conversation, and I think this global community, goes through so much that we can be forgiven for trying to figure things out in those moments, right? Before I let you guys go, these videos that you make that continue to go viral, like they get millions of views, I have to think on some level notwithstanding the horrible side of what a global pandemic, but on some level you have to be grateful for COVID. COVID's been very good to Reza and Sara.
It has actually.
Right? Because it brought you together. You wouldn't have done the videos otherwise, right? That's how the video started.
Yes, that's how
We
it
can't play
started.
gigs, so we're going to turn on an iPhone. I mean, can you, now that I have you both here together, can you believe this thing with these little videos that you make?
Well, actually, we didn't expect that to go that viral. We just had fun. We were bored, actually, like everybody else.
Just to confirm what you just said, yeah, we also needed an outlet. That
Right.
was
Yeah.
like
Right,
that.
right.
We just wanted to express ourselves musically, and that was the only available medium. And it turned out to be what we are doing now.
And how prescribed is it now? Like, because, like, do you guys plan, we got to do another video next Friday or something, or does it just sort of, because it seems very, again, casual,
Yes.
but it's fucking, I mean, it's getting these millions of views, right?
That's actually, we talk about it. I'm very proud of us to be able to create those videos instantly. Like it would be a lie to say that we don't rehearse at all, but on average, any song we record, the whole process takes 10, 15 minutes. So I am very proud of the artistic level that we have reached, that we are capable of doing this. But there is no hours and hours of rehearsing for any video going on. It is as casual as it is. Again, it's casual and high quality. That's why I'm really proud of it. But yeah, as you are getting to know me better, like I'm keep things casual.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful to have you both here. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for the things that you do. Please, Sara, please remind young Reza that he's a young man.
I do, actually.
Reza, please remind Sara to pace herself. We love her. We need her. To not to party till 3 a.m. like you may have done last night. Baba, you have an interview داشتی چه کار داری
But I
میکنی؟
was hungry. I had
Priorities.
to eat food.
Priorities. So nice to have you both here. Merci.
Thank you.
Thank
Hope
you
to
so
see you
much for
soon.
having us.
Thank you. It's a
It
pleasure
was
to
fun
be
and
here.
pleasure to be here.
All right, back with Smart Pegah here.
I feel like I'm smiling nonstop
how
after
can
that.
you not?
Like it just.
What's wrong with these people? Why are they so happy all the
Why are
time?
they so happy?
It was lovely.
No, it really
They're
was.
lovely. I
It was-
love them. Who doesn't want to spend time with
Exactly.
Reza Rohani and Sara Naeini?
I mean, just listening to the whole interview, I was genuinely smiling the whole time and chuckling and laughing, and their dynamic is just so. They have this energy about them, and they're so warm and fuzzy. I feel like I don't know how else to.
And accomplished.
Yes,
And I
incredible.
love they genuinely like each other.
Yeah.
You know, it's not. There's no
And you can
Simon and
tell.
Garfunkel here. Like they're
That's
really.
right.
That's a reference to a group from a duo that didn't get along. Who else can I reference? What's a more contemporary?
Asking the
Wham?
wrong person.
I don't
know. No, you lost me on that
the
one.
famous duos who don't get along.
Yes.
Hall and Oates, perhaps.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
I don't know if there's like some Akbat and Muhammad, some Iranian group that I would have to, so that you would know them, some Radio Javon thing. Anyway, they do seem to really genuinely love working together, which is clear in their
They
relationship.
refer to themselves as Phoebe and Joey. Doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah, but do you really want to be Joey or Phoebe?
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you want to be either of them.
I
But I
always
think
wanted
it
to
was
be
just,
Chandler. Yeah.
we saw how that turned out.
Oh, dark. So anything else to say about Reza and Sara?
I'm sad I missed the concert this year. I really
Yeah.
am. Yeah.
Yeah, they're amazing.
But it was great. And the part where Sara was talking about being Ebby's teacher, I really enjoyed that part. And I thought that was great, what she said about.
What a journey for her.
Yeah.
he's her idol, and then she ends up singing with him.
Exactly.
It's amazing. Yeah.
And the story that she mentioned that she told him, and full circle moment, just amazing.
And also Reza's relationship with his dad.
Mm-hmm.
Like the fact that he doesn't care at all about, he's not concerned with being in the shadow of his famous, incredible, accomplished father. I love that. And he's so effusively proud of his dad. That's really beautiful.
Yeah, his response to your question about that was so great.
Beautiful.
Very nice.
All right.
Okay.
Smart Pegah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Coming up on in the coming days on Roqe, Kaveh Yakmai.
Yes.
If you're in the Toronto area, he's got a concert this weekend.
Looking forward to
go
it.
see it. Well, actually, it's in Richmond Hill.
Toronto
Hill
area.
Khodabon, yeah. But yeah, Kaveh's amazing, so we look forward to having him in the Roqe studio. Thank you, Pegah.
Thank
you to the amazing people out there who put this show together. Super Parisa, smart Pegah, savvy Rohan, bearded Omid, talented Anahita, methodical Kaveh, solid Samin, and Tina, the video queen. Thank you to all of you out there for supporting us and sharing our content. Do subscribe if you've not done so already. You can find Roqe on Instagram at Roqe Media. Find me at Jian Gomeshi. As ever, Mizun Bashin.